Good morning. This meeting will be televised live via Xfinity Channel 8 or High Definition Channel 1072. It may also be accessed via the Government Access Channel live stream on the Town of Barnstable's website. Again, this meeting of the Barnstable Licensing Authority of Wednesday, March 27th is being recorded and broadcast on the Town of Barnstable's Government Access Channel. In accordance with Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 30A, Section 20, the chair must inquire whether anyone else is recording this meeting, and if so, please make their presence known. Seeing none, my name is Larry Decker, and for this morning, I guess I'm acting chair for this meeting. I also have board members, Nancy Carlson-Lidman and Jessica Silver. In addition, I have Aaron Logan, Interim Deputy Director of Asset Management and Licensing, David Anthony, Director of Asset Management, and Officer Chris Kelsey, our Consumer Affairs Officer. Excuse me. The first item on the agenda is public comment. And if anyone has any public comment they would like to make, if they could step up. We do ask that public comments be held to 3 minutes, please. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Lynn Rhodes. I am the...
Yeah.
It was on. Okay. Thank you. Good morning. My name is Lynn Rhodes. I am the current treasurer for the Zion Union Heritage Museum in Hyannis, and I serve as president for the Cape Cod branch of the NAACP. I'd like to make my comment in relation to the business owner, Trader Ed's owner, Wayne Crooker. Sorry, I was told to do something different than what my intentions were, so I appreciate your patience. I want to put on record that an incident that occurred back in May of 2023 caused Mr. Crooker to terminate an employee. That was an incident that was generated by a concern that happened in the media that actually went viral. And now it seems that while no one is looking, Mr. Crooker is chosen to rehire that person with full intentions. My moment to come here, I'm not sure if I can actually name the people who is in reference, but the business operations of Mr. Crooker is saying when people are watching, he wants to appease the public media and give his business a certain perception. When no one else is watching, he wants to reestablish his existing affiliation with someone who has demonstrated repeatedly behavior that is not in line with community diversity and representation of fairness and equality. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Is there anyone else who has public comment? I guess I should make sure I ask your name.
Oh, my name is Megan Hanwalt. I live in Falmouth, and I'm here to oppose business as usual at Trader Ed's unless something changes. I mean, obviously, business as usual, nothing changes. So I really think there needs to be some changes before they're allowed to operate in the community, because we have seen that they cause harm in the community. So that's my statement.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else? The next item on is the approval of the minutes. Oh, yes. Yeah, can I have a motion to close the public comment?
I'd like to make a motion to close public comment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of November 13th, 2023.
And I make a motion to approve the minutes of November 13th, 2023.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. New business. The first item on the agenda is to amend a license. An application has been filed by the 373 West Main Street, Inc., DBA Jack's Lounge, 373 West Main Street. An application was filed to add live entertainment. Live entertainment to include three-piece band and karaoke, Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. to 12:45 a.m., Saturday and Sunday, 3 p.m. to 12:45 a.m. Is there anyone here from Jack's?
I don't see Tim. Can we push this to the end of the agenda?
Okay, we'll put that to the end of the agenda. The next item is an application filed by the town of Barnstable, Hyannis Youth and Community Center, located at 141 Bassett Lane, Hyannis, to hold Rock Night, Taylor Swift Ezra Tour Rock Night on June 14th, 2024, from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. The entertainment will consist of a cinematic screening as well as music. Is there anyone here regarding that?
Chair, the applicant has emailed and asked to withdraw that application without prejudice.
Okay.
I make a motion to accept the withdrawal of the special one-day application for Hyannis Youth and Community Center without prejudice.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Moving right along, the next item is an application has been filed by Cape Quality Cars, Inc., DBA Cape Quality Cars, 455 Yarmouth Road, Hyannis, for a change of corporation from Cape Quality Cars, Inc. to Hyannis Wheels, Inc., no DBA. Confirmed hours of operation are Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And it looks like we have someone here from Cape Quality Cars, or Hyannis Wheels, I guess it is.
Well, we want to be Hyannis Wheels. How are you?
Good.
So I don't even know if I should come up. Do I come up? Yeah. I do. Huh? And it's just me today. Oh. Just me.
Yep, just a quick explanation.
We're just we're trying to disassociate, I guess, from the repair shop, Cape Quality Collision. So there's been a lot of confusion between the two and doing business, even just the day-to-day with things. And so we're just trying to, the shop has ended. So we're just trying to cut ties and start new. So we want to just start fresh. We've already, we have incorporated the name already. We've changed the insurance as requested and everything. So, hope you guys like the name. But yeah, so that's all. We just want to fresh, just disassociate from the repair shop.
You have to put up new signs.
Yep. I know we have to get approval for that, we have been in touch with sign company. We've gotten a couple of proofs. Is that the word? I think that's the word, proof, but obviously we haven't been approved yet, so we didn't apply for the meeting and whatnot until we knew if we could even do it.
There's been no change in daily operations.
No,
Everything
it's
else
the
is the
same. We're
same?
still running as Cape Quality Cars at the moment, yeah.
And you're still aware that there is that one-day suspension in abeyance
The
that follows you with,
one day I'm sorry?
there's a one-day suspension to be held in abeyance for Cape Quality Cars?
I'm not sure what that is. 1 day I'm not sure what that means. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Just for the record, at the November meeting, there was a suspension imposed to be held in abeyance for a year. So that suspension period ends
Yeah.
November 14th of 2024. And if I'm not overstepping, I think the intention is just to ensure that you're aware that suspension is just going to follow.
I understand that.
Okay.
No, this is not in any
Where
way
the-
to evade that. Again, this
Yep.
is just to disassociate from our old repair shop that we had. Like, even doing things like utility services, things are getting confused because they're just so similar. So we're just trying to get rid of the
It just means if
similar
there's,
name.
that just means if there's another issue or something, then we would have to address a closing for 1 day. But if you get to November, right?
I think I'm just confused by the one-day thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Is
don't
it
think there
one
was a-
year, or is it one day?
No, it's one day
One day.
that we hold for a year,
Yeah.
like in our back pocket, so to speak, just in case something comes up.
Okay,
And that was issued in November.
okay. I still don't understand.
That's
I'm
okay. So
sorry.
there was a suspension
For
imposed.
the year, yeah, for a year, right?
But it's to be held in abeyance. So if
What's
there is
that
an,
mean?
okay, so that's perfectly acceptable. If there is another violation
Mm-hmm.
before November 14th of 2024, it's an automatic suspension.
Okay.
So we would still probably call you in for a show cause just for formality's sake.
Okay.
But if the board found you in violation at that time, it would be an automatic suspension. There's no more discussion on what we're going to
Okay.
do moving forward. That's all.
Okay, and maybe it's just the wording that I'm just
Oh, sorry.
unfamiliar with and confused by. I'm sorry, but I did understand, I'm aware of that.
Okay.
of
Okay, good.
what I understand.
Good,
Yes.
thank you. Any further comments? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve the application for a change of corporation for Hyannis Wheels, Inc., as submitted, noting that the suspension to be held in abeyance for 1 year issued for Cape Cod Quality Cars, Inc. on November 13th, 2023, will apply to Hyannis Wheels, Inc. until the suspension period expires on November 14th.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Congratulations.
Good. Thank you. The next item is a special one-day all alcohol and entertainment application, an application filed by the Best Buddies International to hold the 20th Annual Best Buddies Challenge, an after-party clam bake. All alcohol is to be served by tip-certified pourers. The entertainment is to include a live band. The event is scheduled for June 1st, 2024, from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m., and the applicant anticipates approximately 800 attendees. Is there anyone here for that?
And Chair, just before we start, typically Best Buddies in their 20th year, this would have been a consent agenda item. Licensing staff did receive a notice from an abutter of just some issues they were having last year, so we pulled it off of the consent agenda and placed it on a public hearing.
If there's no one here for that, are we notifying Best Buddies of?
Mr. Chairman.
Oh,
we-
there's
we
somebody
have
here.
Several
Okay, I'm
representatives
sorry.
here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
From the complaint.
You look like a biker.
I try. Yeah, so just to explain, we've been doing this for a very long time, and
Could I have your name, please?
Patrick Shaughnessy.
Thank you.
We've been doing the event a very long time and want to continue to be, partners of the town and the neighbors. We are aware of the complaint, and we have a couple fixes that we think can going forward make it better for our immediate neighbors. We realize that the one of our contractors parked blocking their driveway, and we realized that the fence didn't go all the way to the street, so it was very easy for that to happen. So we're going to actually continue that, put a barrier there for the day, or for the week of build, that cannot happen going forward.
I don't believe in the previous 19 years we've had any issues. Has there been?
Not that I'm 5 years in myself with Best Buddy, so not that I am aware of.
But you're going to address the current issues that somebody presented?
Correct.
Great.
Correct. We have one of our contractors here who's has some her plans. She's involved, and some supporters as well. So we're all on top of it going forward.
All right. You have a motion?
Okay,
please?
I move to approve the special one-day alcohol and entertainment licenses for Best Buddies International as amended, noting that the organizer will be responsible for ensuring that the vehicles do not encroach on the parcels of land immediately adjacent to the eastern property line and addressed as 1006 and 1010 Craigville Beach Road, Centerville. Additionally, the event organizer will be responsible for keeping the sound at a reasonable level so far as to mitigate the noise impact on the abutting properties.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank
Good
you.
luck.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Tom Brady isn't going to be there this year, is he? All right. The next item is public hearing. An application has been filed by Cape Concepts LLC, DBA Cove Coastal Kitchen, excuse me, 615 Main Street, Unit 14, Hyannis, for a new daily live and daily non-live entertainment license. Live amplified music with up to 4 performers and 4 pieces, including dancing and karaoke. The proposed hours of live music are daily from 12 p.m. to 12 a.m., non-live entertainment to include recorded music at conversational level and 6 TVs. The proposed hours of non-live entertainment are daily from 8 a.m. to 12 a.m. And it looks like we have someone here.
Richard Warner. I'm the general manager of Cape Concepts LLC, Cove Coastal Kitchen.
And the chef?
And the chef, yes.
So we're going to have some entertainment. Have you been open for business?
No, we're wrapping up the renovations right now. Our intention is to open towards the end of April.
Towards the end of April?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And could you tell me how large your space is, please?
Yeah, it's 4,000 square feet.
Okay. So plenty of room to dance?
There is, yeah. It's a big dining room, yeah. And it's licensed for 124 seats. We'll probably be opening with more around 80 or 90.
Okay.
Just to kind of keep it under control as we launch.
Smart move.
Now, is there going to be outside seating?
No, not this year. I'd originally intended to apply, but I'm going to forego that for this year. We just got too much going on to really worry about that. And like I said, we have a lot of seats inside, so it's just going to add to that. And it's, just getting going. Like I said, we're trying to control it.
Right. I know we didn't ask this the last time you came up, but how many people do you expect to employ?
I would say, it depends on the volume, but we're figuring around 15.
Oh, that's good.
15 to 20.
Okay. May I have a motion, please?
I motion to approve, I move to, let's start again. I move to approve the entertainment application filed by Cove Coastal Kitchen as amended, noting the live entertainment hours will be daily 12 p.m. to 11 p.m., and the non-live entertainment hours will be daily from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m.
Okay.
I second.
So, okay. So that's changed a little bit, I guess?
Yeah, it's from
the
12 to
application,
11,
right.
correct?
That's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
And just
Thank
a,
you very much.
Hey,
just a correction, that's 8 a.m.
Into
to 12 a.m.
a.m.
12
Yeah,
a.m.
On
Yeah,
the
yeah.
on the non-live.
Yep,
good luck.
So, thank you.
thank you. The next is an application for new entertainment license. An application has been filed by Masaki Acquisition Group LLC, DBA Masaki Sushi Restaurant, 379 West Main Street, Hyannis, for a daily non-live entertainment license to include music at conversation level and 1 television. Hours of non-live entertainment are daily from 11 a.m. to 12 a.m. And it looks like we have someone here.
Hello, my name's Rex. I'm here representing Masaki Acquisition Group, LLC.
Rex
which-
what, please? Rex, what's your last name, please?
Rex Galicia,
Thank you.
LLC, which does business as Masaki Sushi, located at 379 West Main Street, Hyannis, MA 02601. We were recently in front of this licensing authority for the transfer of an all-alcohol license at the same location. The application is still at the ABCC. We are here today for a non-live entertainment license. We plan to have 1 TV and at or below conversation level music. No other changes to the business are being applied for. We coordinated with their offices to arrange for a legal advertisement, and we sent out abutter notifications. Thank you for your time.
Any questions, comments?
Have you heard back from any of your abutters?
So they were sent earlier today by email.
Oh,
to you guys. Yeah.
Okay.
Nancy, for the record, licensing staff hasn't received any,
No
any
comments,
notice
no.
from any abutters on
Thank
this
you.
application.
All right, may I have a motion, please?
I move to approve the daily non-live entertainment application submitted by Mitsaki Acquisition Group LLC, DBA Mitsaki Sushi Restaurant, as submitted.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, good luck.
Thank you.
Another new entertainment license, an application has been filed by the MCRH Hyannis LLC DBA Roadhouse Cafe, 488 South Street, Hyannis, for daily live and daily non-live entertainment license. Daily live entertainment to include one piano player. Daily non-live entertainment for background music below conversation level and 2 TVs. And it looks like we have someone here.
Good morning, David Lawler on behalf of the applicant, just calling the Roadhouse. As you may recall, we were here about a month ago where we were for the new license and the new manager who's here with us in the back, and there was a little issue, minor, no big deal, with the entertainment license. As you can see, this is a traditional license for the Roadhouse use of piano player, below normal levels. The hours of operation are certainly consistent with that of a restaurant. I know we had discussions about the whole matter last month. I know you folks are busy, so I don't want to be presumptuous, but I'm just going to stand here and answer questions, if any.
I know that in the old Roadhouse, the piano was in the section off to the left.
Yeah,
Is that where the?
I believe so. I don't want to say, but that makes sense. That's that room off of where the fire. The room off where the fireplace is by the bar, and then that room right directly behind that. I
Right.
believe that's where it is, yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Great place to go by the fire in the wintertime and have a little something at the bar.
Are they open for business yet?
No, we're still waiting on Boston on ABCC.
Okay.
And that hopefully, we hope to be closing any day, truthfully, so. But any other questions would be more than.
Any other questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve the daily live and daily non-live entertainment license, daily from 4 p.m. to 11 p.m. for MCRH Hyannis LLC, DBA Roadhouse Cafe, as submitted.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. I'm not going to move because I think I'm next. Andre, you want to come up? Come on. Yeah.
Excuse me. Every application, okay. All right. So we've approved this, so what are we attending now?
I am also representing the next matter.
Oh, I got you. I got you.
Sorry,
Oh,
I didn't
okay.
communicate that properly.
All right, an application has been filed by Harbor Club, Inc., DBA Trader Ed's, 11 Willow Street, Hyannis, for a change of manager from Jared Payne to Andre Simpkins.
Yes, you have the application of Andre. He has over 30 years' experience in the business. Actually, has worked approximately 20 years in Trader Ed's in numerous capacities. Is extremely qualified, tips trained, has experience, handling ID licenses, anything of that matter. I've known, I've represented Wayne Kirker for many years now, and have seen Andre at the business. I know he's a very valued employee in his capacity as the manager of record for the license holder. He'll be responsible for day-to-day operations. He'll be responsible for employees, and he will be running the business. He's very familiar with the rules and regulations of the town of Barnstable. I believe that Barnstable Police is familiar, with his, being at Trader Ed's over the years, having dealt with, liquor licensing, having seen him there, certainly in a capacity. This is in a management capacity. He's always been kind of a quasi-manager, handling, certainly was in charge of handling the door staff in the past, and is very familiar with, with the business and the rules and regulations, and will be replacing Mr. Payne, who went on to a different venture.
Do we need to open public comment?
Unless you wanted to hear from Mr. Simpkins first.
Yeah, okay,
Then I do have a couple questions as well.
Mr. Simpkins, then Officer Kelsey. Then
okay. Mr. Simpkins, when I went online to look up your application, I couldn't find a lot of the information. Where have you most recently worked in a management capacity?
Trader Ed's for the last 5 years, for any time that my boss was not there. So I've worked for Trader Ed's for 20
temporary,
years.
you worked for Wayne Kirker?
He was the assistant manager, Mr. Decker, so it would, if the main manager was not on duty, he was responsible for the restaurant
Okay,
for 5 years.
okay. Great. All right, I'd like to open this.
I have a question. How many hours do you expect to be on the premises?
Probably a minimum of 30 anyways. So I would definitely be there Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, is as far as head of security went. So yeah, it's about 30 hours. And sometimes it's based on 12-hour days.
And you said you were previous the assistant. Is there somebody going to take that position while you're the manager?
I was
So if you're not
probably
on
I was
site, somebody?
I was probably going to hire someone for head of security, which is pretty much the assistant.
Okay,
You know.
thank you.
Yep.
Officer Kelsey, I think, was next.
Officer Kelsey?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As Mr. Lawler stated, I mean, Mr. Simpkins has been in the hospitality business on Cape Cod, specifically around this area for many years. I've known him for many years. I've been on calls with him several times, and the way he handles his job, I don't know if there's too many people around here that handle it better. Which leads me to this question. I have a serious public safety concern. I've had conversation with Mr. Kirker recently, and he has told me that he anticipates bringing John Shea back as an employee. I explained to Mr. Kirker that that creates a public safety concern for me, for the police department, because last year when all of this stuff happened, the business, Trader Ed's, received threats by telephone. They received threats by people going in and making statements to staff. And I have two issues. One is, how do you plan on handling that type of a situation? And two, I wasn't completely satisfied with Mr. Kirker's response, which was, well, we know that there's going to be issues. We know we're going to have to put on extra staff. And if John Shea gets slapped in the face a couple of times, he's just going to have to walk away and take it. That is not acceptable to me, and it's not acceptable to the police department.
Well, if I may initially address, and then Andre can certainly jump in where he thinks is necessary. Well, first and foremost, Andre will be the manager. There's no question about that. Any involvement that Mr. Shea may or may not have in the future would more than likely be mostly behind the scenes, handling books and records. He had worked there for 20 years, handling bookings and things like that. I'm not going to say that he's going to be. I don't know. I mean, I'm here for Andre, and that's a very legitimate question, Officer Kelsey, about safety issues. But the issue with Mr. Shea is that he is not going to be like this shadow manager or anything like that. The manager is Andre, and that he's responsible for staff. He's responsible for the day-to-day operations of the program. And as you said, he's extremely qualified and one of the more qualified people in that situation. Now, to the extent that, and I agree with you that having somebody slapped in the face is not unacceptable. I wasn't there for the conversation, but I obviously have known you for a long time, and I'm not doubting your what you're telling me. And I will have a conversation with my client that that's obviously not, my guess is it was probably more metaphorical than physical, but I don't know, I wasn't there. With respect to the situation with security, I know that Trader Ed's has always had, ample staff on duty, and they have had the instruction, which they have followed, that if there's any incident whatsoever, they would be, first to call Barnstable, police, to come to the scene. I know that that's a double-edged sword, because sometimes when you have too many calls, it can be a problem. But at the same time, safety, the community safety is the number one issue. If there are problems on the premises, they'll be dealt with in a respectful and professional manner. If there's some big deal and there has to be some type of presence, if Barnstable Police needs to be called, they will. Hopefully, there won't be any. There's no intention. This is a business that's been in operation for 20 years. I am not going to get into any factual circumstances, but I will say this, that the Trader Ed's does not condone any behavior that is, would be abusive to anyone, that would be, anything. The allegations against Mr. Shea occurred off-site. They did not occur at Trader Ed's. The allegations are, and the video are egregious. There's no question about that. We're not trying to hide from that. But the situation simply is that my client is trying to run a business. My client has been very open, with licensing and with the Barnstable Police, and has been extremely transparent of what he tries to do. And one of the reasons why I believe he called you or you called him, but certainly has always communicated and believes in transparency, and has been an outstanding citizen in this town for many years, involved in numerous projects, involved in numerous charities, involved in numerous events. But the issue here before this board, is Andre. And as you said, he's extremely qualified. Now, if he wants to say, how he would handle that specific scenario you gave him, Andre, jump right in. If there's a problem, what are you going to do?
Well, actually, you know what? Let me address a couple of things that you said first.
Yep.
One, thank you for your input. Two, the comment I made about John Shea, or the comment that Mr. Kirker made about John Shea being slapped in the face, was absolutely physical, not metaphorical.
Okay.
Because we had conversation about if somebody were to go in there and cause trouble because John Shea was there, what are you going to do? How are you going to mitigate that? Because I have a strong concern that there may be incidents like that this summer because of the threats that the bar got last year. Now, what I would like to hear is an answer from Mr. Simpkins.
Okay, but before
I would like to hear an answer from Mr. Simpkins.
Okay, I understand.
And then if you want to come in after that, that's fine.
Okay, certainly.
Thank you.
Andre.
I expect that there's going to be some issues, I don't expect for anyone to be hurt over the whole situation, but wise talks and wise comments. It happened before this happened, so I expect it. And the first time something like that happens and it gets out of control, well then, I'll speak with my boss, Wayne, and if it gets to the point, he can no longer be there. That's all. I mean, that's the way that I feel about it. Or I plan on picking up the ball, backing up, and punting it. So, I mean, I'm not going to put myself into a situation where I'm going to get hurt or anybody else. I mean, we can see what happens. We have a lot of good people on our side. But, I mean, the person that's going to come in and start trouble is going to be somebody that we've never seen before, So, I mean, do I expect trouble? I'm sure here and there. The only thing that I can do is make sure I have a good head of security and a good crew to pick these people out. but it's like my lawyer said. My name is Andre Simpkins, and I am the manager. I don't plan on answering to him telling me what to do. If I have an issue, it's going to come straight from Wayne Kirko, and that's what we have in place. So.
I have a question. You had said that John would be behind the scenes,
That's I mean, Andre's the manager, so that's the situation. So
and Officer Kelsey is saying that he spoke to Wayne Kirker, and there could be potential that he might not be behind the scenes. Is that what I'm understanding?
The conversation I had with Mr. Kirker, he confirmed that he was bringing him back as an employee. He confirmed that he would be on site. He did not identify exactly what his role would be.
So, I was not part of that conversation, so I didn't know the whole factual circumstances. So obviously, it was not metaphorical. It was a true case scenario. I can tell you right now that I will instruct my client that, number one, that if there's any comments or verbal whatever directed directly at Mr. Shea, that he will be instructed to walk away immediately and go behind closed doors where the public is not allowed in the premises. That he'll be instructed to do that, okay? First and foremost. And then leave the scene. If there was a physical assault, Barnstable Police will be called, okay? I will tell you that will be a protocol in place that will happen at Trader Ed's. That, I mean, obviously, you know, assault is a crime, and if that happens, Barnstable Police will be called. But we don't want to have that. So the idea would be that if there were any type of altercation verbally, Mr. Shea will be in, again, he's not the manager, so he's not going to be in that, you know, in that capacity. He has a long history of handling, you know, ordering, you know, food, alcohol, handling, you know, booking entertainment, doing all those other things that he has done over the past years that he may be involved. And that's what when I refer to behind the scenes operations. So the issue is, but if he happens to be on scene and someone sees him and comes up to him and starts to verbally berate him or threaten him, he will be instructed to walk away.
That's all well and good. The stuff that you talked about with Mr. Shea being there to do the ordering, scheduling, all the stuff that he has history with, isn't that why Mr. Kirker is hiring Mr. Simpkins?
He's handling him in two capacity. Ordering the license manager. There's always been. If you go to many restaurants, there's the liquor license manager who is responsible to make sure that employees understand the. You know, there's a liquor license manager, and you know, and there's businesses behind the scenes. So that's Andre's job is to run the business during operations. Now, and some of this stuff I don't even know if Mr. Shea's been hired back. I don't know. I know there was some conversations. I don't know that for a fact.
And again, I'm just going on the conversation.
And I
with
can't.
Mr. Kirker.
I'm very uncomfortable coming up with scenarios that are that I don't have all the factual information on. So I'm gonna stop to provide hypotheticals of things that I don't know on. What we are here for, and I want to get back to, we are here for the application of Andre, and his qualifications, as you indicated, are spot on. Okay, so this isn't, I respectfully suggest, and I didn't say this in the beginning because it's such an important issue, and it's such a societally important issue that I didn't just want to start from the beginning and say we're not going to talk about that because that's not who my client is. He wanted to address these things straight on, but starting to get in lines of hypotheticals is a dangerous situation, especially when I don't have all the facts. Obviously, I wasn't there for your conversation with Mr. Kirker, and you corrected me.
Okay, so let me interject here. My question originally was for Mr. Simpkins concerning public safety matters and how he would handle it as a manager. That was going to be the narrow scope of my question.
Okay.
You went on a 2 to 3 minute speech, and you opened up a whole bunch of doors. So with that, I asked more questions. The original question was how he was going to handle the public safety issue, which is a legitimate concern. I've had conversations with the chief of police about this already. She has concerns about it as well. We want everybody who's a patron there to be safe. We want everyone who's a staff there to be safe. And if a police officer has to respond there, we want them to be safe. If there's a way that we can mitigate that before a problem happens, that's what we're all about. So that's not hypothetical, that's planning.
No, I understand that, and I believe Mr. Simpson's answered that question.
All right.
And do we need to open this up for a public comment? Do we need a motion for that? All right, we will open it up to public comment. I would remind the public that the issue at hand here is the approval of a new manager. It's not discussing problems that have occurred at this facility previously. It has to do with the approval of this gentleman. So with that said, I will open up the meeting to public comment with regard to this particular issue.
Good morning again. My name is Lynn Rhodes, and I represent the Cape Cod branch of the NAACP as I am the president. I had difficulty hearing some of the statements, but one thing that I don't feel that was clearly resolved is the public safety issue. Comments were alluded that Mr. Shea was, if he is a victim in terms of an altercation, what needed to happen that Mr. Shea would walk away. My question and my concern is, what happens if Mr. Shea is the aggressor, and how does that get handled? Thank you.
I'm happy with addressing that. If Mr. Shea is the aggressor, he is going to be treated as any aggressor would be. There would be a police response, there would be an investigation, and if he was found to be at fault, there would be some sort of action taken. And that could be anything from removing him from the property, it could be a summons to court, it could end up in an arrest. Now, I want to be fair. We're using Mr. Shea's name. It could be somebody else who is the aggressor, and that person would be treated exactly the same way. And just so that everyone is clear, assault and battery in the state of Massachusetts, if it's not in the presence of a police officer, it's not an arrestable offense. So if we get there and someone says, Jimmy Jones punched me in the face, or Sam Smith punched me in the face, we can take a report, we can give them information so that they can go to court and take out their own complaints. We could summons them into court, but it doesn't necessarily mean that we can arrest them for that assault and battery because it didn't happen in our presence.
Thank you.
So that's how it would be handled.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Larry Johnson, and I'm the Vice President of the NAACP in Hyannis. My concern is that there's been a history of occurrences with the gentleman that's being talked about here. And there have been documented proof that he's going to court with regard to assaulting other individuals. We do not believe that the information that's before you is a smoking screen. And by that I mean that if this individual is on the premises, there is going to probably, more than likely than not, be an altercation. This individual has gone to court and he received slaps on the hand. And they have not been adjudicated in a manner that we think is proper. So I think that what we need to do is to put together accountability. If the gentleman is not there, there is no altercation. If the gentleman is there, the probability of an altercation grows. If we feed the beast prosper. If we lay the beast aside, there's no prospering. but we need to hold this person accountability. In any occurrence or anything that looks like it's going to happen does not happen. That's our concern, not only for the public, but for the people that go to these establishments, where he has been the manager at other establishments, and as well as the police department. So I think it's a win-win situation for everybody.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Tara Vargas Wallace. I am the founder of Amplify People of Color. We are a racial equity organization. My issue is of public safety. With regards to the statement that the Trader Ed's attorney, I'm assuming you're an attorney, or representation rather, made to not condoning the behavior of Mr. Shea. If that were the case, why is he still in the picture? Why does he still continue to be allowed to be in the picture? If you don't condone it, you would get rid of him. There are plenty of people qualified enough to place orders and do whatever else it is that he's done. It appears to me that there's a lot of good old boy behavior going on here. And the fact that Mr. Shea continues to hold power in a situation where he has caused harm to the community is a huge public safety issue, if you ask me, and several others. And also, it doesn't go past me that they've hired a black man to take position here. I mean, talk about tokenizing, okay? This is really what, if we really want to make sure that we ensure public safety, John Shea would be out of the picture. Thank you.
May I ask a question of the board? Is some of this beyond our scope as a board?
The simple answer is yes. I mean, we're really looking at the qualifications of Andre. We're not looking at the qualifications of Trader Ed's to operate. They already have a license to operate. Unfortunately, there is nothing in Mass General Law, Chapter 138, that gives the licensing authority or the town of Barnstable purview over which establishments, who they hire. We just don't have that reach, and I think most people think, rightfully so, we don't want government to have that reach. We certainly hear what the folks are saying, and we just don't. The matter is simply today, is Andre Simpkins qualified to be the manager of Trader Ed's? Certainly, the public safety concerns are absolutely valid. That is something Officer Kelsey and myself can work with the establishment and the attorney. But ultimately, we're not questioning whether or not they are getting a license. They have one. Is Mr. Simpkins qualified?
Thank you.
Yeah. It's unfortunate that Mr. Kirker couldn't be here to listen to these complaints, justifiably. I guess my question would be is it possible that the complaints that these people have registered could be transferred to Mr. Kirker?
He'll watch the film. I can guarantee it. He'll watch the video.
Okay.
I can guarantee it.
So at least we want to make sure that he understands. I mean, we don't want to take everything here. We want to make sure he understands what the issues are. But again, we get back to Mr. Simpkins.
I don't know if you want to just technically close public comment.
Yes, I want.
I'm sorry.
You make a motion for it.
I make a motion to close public comment.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And then, Mr. Decker, I'll address that. Mr. Kirker, as you know, he was here by himself at the last one. He's had a long-standing business appointment out of the Commonwealth, and that's the reason I'm here. I'm not even sure I would be here. He's always been before this board. He's always taken responsibility. He's an extremely ethical person, and I know he will watch this, and he takes these matters with great seriousness. I just do want to address one thing. I mean, obviously, there's public comment and people's rights to make public comment, but what I interpreted to be an attack on Mr. Simpkins' reputation. He has been a manager or assistant manager for 5 years, been worked in the business for over 20. Officer Kelsey said he knew his reputation and thought he was eminently qualified. Any type of accusation that he is anything other than extremely qualified and the most qualified person that was in there for that position, I quite frankly, on his behalf, find offensive. He is an extremely qualified individual. He's being hired as the liquor license manager, or was being proposed as liquor license manager, for the one and only reason that he is extremely qualified for the position. And I wanted to make that clear.
Thank you.
Thank you. First thing I want to do is thank the people from coming forward and presenting your input. It is valuable. Secondly, I have a question. You mentioned 30 hours a week that you would be putting into this position. And you talked about a security guard being there when you're not there. Is there going to be a manager that's going to make up the difference in your total hours you're open versus 30 that you're there?
So, we open up at 11:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah, press is the blue button on, green button?
Yeah, the green button's on. Hello? Yeah. So we open up 11:30 in the morning till 1 at night. So we have a bar manager that's open, that's going to be there from 11:30 until the point of time when I come in. All of the employees, probably as of last night, they're all tip certified, crowd controlled certified, and that goes to the bartenders. Even the waitresses are also all certified. So if there was a situation where I could not be there, I would have my assistant manager, which would be my head of security. And that's what I'm stepping down from head of security and picking up management. And I just wanted to say, now that I have a chance to talk, as far as the public comment, when the one young lady talked about the token, there were 3 people that had the opportunity for this management job. I asked for the job, and I just want to let that be clear, that there was a group of people that were in line for it, So nobody came up to me and said, "Hey, how about you do that?" No, I asked for it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Decker, I'd just like to clarify one point.
Yes, sir.
And I will stand behind my statements about Mr. Simpkins and my interactions with him over the years, as both on a social basis and as responding as a police officer. He has always done his job as head of security in an incredible manner. And he has made our job as police officers easier because of the way he handles his job. As far as the administrative stuff and the other management stuff, I have no knowledge of what his experience is and how he handles that. That's not a knock on him. I just want to clarify my statement.
Thank you.
Are there any other comments with regards to this matter? And if not, I'll take a motion.
I move to approve the change of manager application for Harbor Club, Inc., DBA Trader Ed's, as submitted.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Congratulations,
approve
Mr.
that?
Simkin.
And again, I thank the public for their interest, their presentation.
Congratulations. Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is an application filed by Risto Inc., DBA Adelphi Bistro, 372 or 366 Main Street, Hyannis, to transfer the seasonal all-common victular license from Sunny Boy Inc., DBA Cuckoos, to Risto Inc., DBA Adelphi Bistro. The applicant also seeks a change of license class from seasonal to annual. Open daily with seating capacity for 81 inside and 64 outside. The proposed alcohol manager is Darko Ristovsky. And we have, I take
Sorry,
care
Darko Ristovsky, yeah.
Okay,
Hello, everyone.
good.
Hi, good morning.
So, What happened to Cuckoo's and what happened to the former owner?
So he decided that he's gonna step away from the restaurant business for a while. He said that he needed a break, and I mean, I've known Tim since he's been there, actually since he was on Ocean Street, and he said that, you know, last year it didn't work out as well with the partnership because before that he was on his own, and then he had a partner last year and things didn't go their way. And when you look at the way the business was and the sales, like last year was their worst year with the I don't know if it was the partnership or their new concept because they changed the menu, and
I know that for a while he was doing really good,
He was.
but the problem was he was putting in the hours. I knew he was getting burnt out, so that's why I think
that's
he
the
decided.
nature of the business. If
Yeah.
you're not ready to put in the hours, you shouldn't be doing it. So
Right.
that's the restaurant business.
So is there anything changing?
The name is changing, as you know, the new name, and the menu.
So you're keeping the same people on that work there? Or,
No, it's going to be new staff.
And the hours?
The hours, we're going to be open at 11:30, hopefully. We'll see. I mean, that's the plan, but at the beginning, it might be just dinner and then do the whole day.
And there's no entertainment, so.
Right now, no, just the TVs and the music.
Okay, and your background with regard to being a manager?
So I've been the current manager and owner of Alberto's restaurant here in Hyannis. Manager for 5 years. I've been in the food and service industry for over 20 years. Different restaurants, different establishments.
Tell us a little bit how you're going to function between the two places.
So the places are very close to one another. I mean, if you're on Main Street, you can see both. I am going to have managers on both places, so I'll be able to bounce back from the two locations. I have, right now, Delphi has already cameras installed. I am getting the cameras installed at Alberto, so I'll be able to monitor both places, regardless of which location I'm at. And it's literally, I'm 30 seconds away if I need to address a certain situation or someone needs my help.
So you're going to be putting in a lot of hours, obviously.
I am right now, so I'll just be split between the two places.
Now, this is a foolish question maybe, but why would I want to go to Alberto's versus going to the new place? I mean, are they going to have different menus?
Absolutely. This is going to be a Mediterranean food, so different style. I mean, it's obviously we don't want to do a second Alberto's. We already have one. But no, it's going to be a different. It's going to be Mediterranean style, not as no tablecloths, nothing like that. So a little bit less high end. And
Okay. Any other questions? I'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve the transfer of the seasonal all-alcohol common victular license from Sunny Boy Sunny Boy Inc. DBA Cuckoo's to Risto Inc. DBA Adelphi Bistro, including a change of license class from seasonal to annual, as submitted.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Good luck. The next item on the agenda is a discussion with regard to AutoCape.
I'm new to the board. Let me introduce myself. Gentlemen.
Are these your clients
Yes,
as well?
yeah,
All right.
yeah.
I'm just going to set up an office for you. in the back.
Exactly. I'll get my mail.
I hope you're giving all these people bulk discounts.
Charge everybody very fairly. Just for the record, David Lawler on behalf of AutoCape, and I'd like my clients to introduce themselves.
I'm Mikhail Hakobian. I'm the owner and manager.
My name is Dusan Tasik. I'm the financing manager and sales manager at AutoCape.
I guess, Mr. Kelsey, you're,
Okay. Thank you. As we talked last month, we had asked that AutoCape Management come in and have a conversation with the licensing authority concerning basically their operation procedure and how we've received, when I say we, the police department, several complaints concerning behavior of management toward customers. As we explained last month, we're not here, meaning the police department, and I know Mr. Nunheimer said the same thing. We're not here to try to address civil issues between customer and dealership. That's not what the police department's role is, and the chair last month explained that's not what the role of this authority is as well. But we do have concerns over the number of calls for service to the dealership for disturbances involving staff and customers, as well as there are several ordinance violations that we have addressed over the years as well. And all of those coming together sort of brought me to the point where it's like, I think they need to have a conversation with the licensing authority. I know Mrs. Logan has had conversation with them. I've had conversation with them individually several times. I've explained that certain behaviors would not be acceptable by the town of Barnstable, and we just continue to be getting calls for service. I do have a couple of questions because, and maybe you know this, or obviously you should. I don't know when you took ownership of this dealership.
2017 is where I started.
Okay. And the reason I asked this is I looked at our calls for service just going back to 2020, and I wanted to make sure I was being fair to you. I didn't, if you hadn't owned it in 2020, I didn't want that to reflect on you.
2017 is when I took ownership of it. There were partners involved at the time, but ultimately I'm the one who stayed.
Okay.
So
since
Can you speak into the mic more?
Sorry. And first of all, I want to apologize. I wasn't able to be in here last time. I was out of town, and there were prior plans made, so I couldn't be here. But yeah, so since 2017, I'm involved in the business, and there were partners at the time. And since 2021, I believe I took over completely.
Okay. So since 2020 to date, we have had 18 calls for service to this dealership. Not all of them were just disturbances, and I want to make that very clear. Some of them were ordinance checks. Some of them were follow-ups on ordinance checks because there were violations found. Some of them were civil assists, which, again, we can be there to help mitigate. That is not our responsibility to determine who's at fault for those issues. But we also have had a number of disturbances, and the disturbances that we've had have been everything from staff yelling and swearing at customers, staff threatening customers. We even had a situation where a police officer responded to the dealership for a disturbance, and the police officer was told to get off the property. I had a conversation with the owner after that one and explained to them that the police officers are an agent of the licensing authority, and that was completely improper. And if that type of behavior ever happened again, they'd be called in front of the authority immediately. So these types of things that just keep adding up is why we're here today. As recently as March 12th, our traffic unit for the police department seized a dealer's plate belonging to this dealership because it was being improperly used. So they towed the vehicle and seized the dealer plate. So there's just a lot of things that are going on, and I think it was time for the licensing authority to have a conversation. If we need to get into specific detail, I do have the calls for service here, and I do have the printouts of the logs as well.
If I may say something, I want to compliment Officer Kelsey and the board. I think these invitations to talk in a public forum are extremely helpful. I was retained just last week or this week. I forget when we met. It's been so crazy. And I've been practicing before this board for close to 30 years, and have handled numerous things. And I understand. I watched the tape from last hearing, and the people got up and they were upset. And my client, I'm not going to get into it, but my client does deny a lot of those allegations. But with respect to but that's as you indicated, and as the chair at that time had indicated, there was a civil matter not within the purview of the situation. And I think that part of the business and the nature of the use, and I'm going to use it as an example, the car that was a problem was, it had been driven up by them from Maryland, so it was put 400 or 500 miles on it. It was sold. It was a limited warranty for a certain amount of miles and a certain amount of days. The days were still in effect, but the miles were double what the warranty was. And they had also sold them a manufacturer's warranty. So, and there was one issue that was fixed, and then there was a second issue, and they said, well, you're out of warranty, that you have a limited warranty, go talk to them and whatever. And there was a business dispute, but the fact is that being the business owner, with respect to, I've had conversations with my client that we have to develop some methods rather than to escalate the situation. It has to be de-escalated, and that's the situation. And Officer Kelsey, I think that's what you're referring to, is that in these type of situations, there has to be some methods and procedures put in place, and I'm going to be working with my client in that regard. That if there isn't, regardless, sometimes people, and especially if you've allocated a large sum of money to buy a car, and in the used car business, unfortunately, you're dealing with vehicles that have 50, 70, 100,000 miles, over 100,000 miles on them, and one of the reasons you get them for well under 10 grand is that they come with a risk of breaking down, and nobody knows if it's going to happen in 3 years or, for that matter, 3 days. You don't know. I mean, that's one of the risks that comes with the used automobiles, and it's part of the business. But people come and they buy a car, and they, and if you, a lot of times you're buying a car and that you're of limited means, and that's a big deal, and it's upsetting to these people. And I understand that, and people are frustrated, and people are scared. So in talking with my client, we're going to put policies and procedures in place to deal with those scenarios, so as to avoid these issues going forward. So I think that's the conversation, and again, for years, I forget when you first implemented this policy of calling a license holder in before there's an actual charge and the hammer, that there's a conversation. And obviously, going forward, my client understands that you don't have these meetings generally more than once, or certainly not once in a year. The next would be a violation, and that has certain negative ramifications. So, I've talked to them, about their, about business operations. But, my client, under that scenario, in just speaking in the hallway, the manager, the people were upset, were kind of abusive to his employee. He's very protective of his employees, to his credit, but at the same time, we're going to put policies and procedures in place to address those issues.
I commend you in wanting to work with them in resolving this. I also think that they should make sure that they work with Officer Kelsey in resolving some of these issues. There are many, many used car dealerships in Barnstable, and this one seems to lead the way in complaints. So I think there is a resolution, but I think somebody needs to sit down with them and explain what some of the charges have been, how they're going to handle it going forward, and everybody should be happy.
Yeah, and I welcome Officer. He has my cell phone. I have his. I've worked with him for since he's been on this board.
He's extremely. He has shown much more reserve than many of us on the licensing board would show.
I can attest to that. But he also, I can tell you, he picks up your call, he deals with it, handles it, tells you straight up, as you can tell from these meetings. When you talk about being transparent, he's completely transparent. So yeah, so we have that to work with, and I understand we need to work on this, we need to fix it, and going forward, that's the intent, and it's going to happen.
I will say this, and take it however you will. The civil complaints, while I don't agree with them, it's not my business. The disturbance complaints, the threats, the yelling and the screaming and the swearing, and I've been there personally for some of it, I've gotten reports about it from others, and I've gotten other reports from other responding police officers. That behavior is not going to be tolerated any longer. And the instruction to the patrol force is going to be take any action that you possibly can take if there is a disturbance. Because it's not safe for you and your staff to be getting into these confrontations with customers. I have explained it to you, I've explained it to your manager. If it gets to that point where it's going to be that heated, call us. Call the police department, let us come down, diffuse it, mitigate it, take whatever action we need to take. I'm not saying anytime that you get into a disagreement with someone, call the police. But if it's getting to the point where it's getting heated, people are yelling at each other, they're swearing at each other, call us. Let us come down and handle it. Because you raising your voice, making threats, your lot personnel making threats to people, that's just going to get you in trouble. That's not going to do anything to help you at all, or your business.
I'm glad we had this discussion. I think, do you have any comments?
I mean, I understand where this is coming from. Yeah,
And that's
like
important.
You said, there are a lot of times where people come in and we have a disagreement, and the customer will call the police, and that will kind of freeze the business at that time because we have a police car on the parking lot. You know, there is a discussion as if some kind of a crime is going on. It freezes the business. We're right on 28th. It's not a good scene, not a good reputation to have. So it does give me a little frustration at the time because, you know, their bills come in, and then each customer lost is a significant amount of money, you know, in our business. It's not 2 cookies that we missed to sell. You know, it's a car that we didn't sell, and it's going to be significant, you know, a portion of our profit for the months. But I get it. I mean, if there's a situation, I'm not the one to handle it because the current instance we're going to be discussing, I think, it's where I was protective of my staff. When they're getting, you know, verbally abused and yelled at, I did feel responsible to protect them because they were professional enough, good enough employees, nice enough not to answer those things. But when I see them on a camera being abused, I felt responsible to protect them. I will, from now on, you know, try to keep my cool better. Absolutely. I mean, I will.
And I'm going to talk to, I have some, given this a lot of thought, I have some policies that I'm going to talk to my client about that would, you know, put people on notice about that abusive behavior towards employees is not acceptable, and that you know, that will, you know, indicate, you know, stop something right from the get-go, and that will be put in place. You know, sometimes, you know, now when you know, with some of the things with COVID, you call a doctor's office, and it's so sad that they have to have it on there. But you know, abusing or swearing at staff will result in you no longer being a patient of this practice, which is great and awful at the same time. They actually have to say it. You know, so I'm going to talk to my clients about getting, like I said, policies and procedures and training of his employees to ensure that this does not happen, and that it's not. So if you don't tolerate from the customer, there's no reason to respond. So that's some of the thought process that I've had that I'm going to sit down with a client and go over. So I'm not just, you know, giving lip service to this. This will be something that, you know, will be, you know, and that, you know, if you are, will, you know, and I'll talk to my client about it. Okay. So.
We thank you all for coming in and involved in this discussion. I don't think we need any motion at all, do we?
No, I just wanted to make a comment as a consumer myself. I think arming your customers who maybe do come in for complaints with the proper places to go to file those complaints. And, you know, while that might sound counterintuitive to you, and you're not alone in this, to simply say it's not my problem, give them solutions. Call the Consumer Assistance Council, call the, you know, I think maybe offering a little assistance, because quite frankly, there probably are things that not your problem, but people don't want to hear that. And again, this is really just coming from one consumer, you know, to a business owner.
Aaron, honestly, that's a great idea.
If I may answer, I mean, just an example. Just this instance, we did try to help the customer, and we do it all the time. The warranty, in most cases, is 30 days, when the vehicles we sell are generally between 80 and 120,000 miles, in most of them. That comes with a 30-day warranty in most cases. If it's over 125, it just has to pass inspection. But even those, we still do the 30 days. Even if it's past the 30 days, a lot of times when it's just past the day, a week past the 30-day warranty, customer comes in just to, keep the customer happy. We'll try to help them. And this was one of those instances as well. They came in, they were already over the miles, and we still assisted them. But when they came in again, and at that time they were already double over the miles, when we refused, at that time the customer became upset. So I'm trying to find that fine line, where does it stop? But a lot of the times, we're the bad guys, we're the used car dealer. There is this stigma, there's no question about it. So for the customer to come in and demand, and it's just the norm, unfortunately, in our business. And for us to refuse, it's automatically we become the bad guy. But we do work. We do try to work and address. In this particular instance as well, they were referred to the new car dealership for the repair, since they had the coverage as well. But I will try to have maybe a printout for certain instances, for certain cases, if there is to hand to the customer with addresses and phone numbers to reach out. Yeah.
Actually, Aaron, that's a great idea, because it really does provide something to break the tension and reduce and eliminate the escalation. That's a great idea. It's a great idea.
Where else do they turn to,
Yeah.
really?
And it's hard, and I acknowledge, I watched the video, it's hard on these folks, because they, it's, again, it's a hard situation, so. Well, thank you so much, and again, I love the fact that this board, not every town does that, where they bring people in before there's an offense, before that there's an official complaint or whatever, that they bring someone in to talk, and I think it's really a very helpful tool. Thank you.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you. Thanks for listening.
The next item is correspondence that A.J. Marks.
Excuse me, are you going to allow the people that they're talking about to speak?
Sure. We'll open up to,
It's okay, it's just this is not a publicly noticed, it's just a discussion item. They're welcome to come up and speak. It's just, this is not a matter for a public hearing, it's just on the agenda, but you are welcome to have a con.
Sure.
They were able to speak last time as well.
The business person will have a problem.
Can I go over here? Wherever you're comfortable.
So, one, I am a new driver. Like, I am new to getting, this is my first car. That's one thing. So, my thing is, I haven't had one issue with the car. I've had multiple issues, and I've called them plenty of times before the warranty or anything even went up. These issues have been happening maybe a week after I got the car. I've never had that was I've called them plenty of times about it. And this last issue, they said they fixed it, but as soon as I got the car, it was still doing the same thing. I came back to them, and then my sister got frustrated. We came back to them and tried to talk to them, and then their mechanic guy or whoever comes in, he started pointing his fingers, cussing and yelling, and then my sister was like, I want to speak to the owner, to your boss. And he answers the phone, I'm the effing owner, you listen to me. That's not how you talk to people or how you approach people, you know what I mean? The guy who's with him sat down, we had a civil conversation, nobody attacked him, because it was perfectly fine. And as soon as the guy got on the phone, so him trying to say he was trying to protect his people, there was nothing to protect, because we didn't do besides try to tell them this car is like literally terrible. Like I literally buck driving off the road, like driving. That's very dangerous because if cars are trying to fly by and get by, and I'm driving on the middle of the road and the car's jerking back and bucking, and I get hit, something bad could happen to me. And that's what my sister was trying to get them to understand. And he was like, "Oh, it's just bad luck." Instead of trying to work with us to get like, hey, maybe we can figure out a way to get get another car or return like something, you know what I mean? They were just being adamant, disrespectful, they just wasn't trying to work with us at all. And this is not like one thing I've had complaints about. Almost a lot of things I've had complaints about weren't fixed. They said they fixed them. Like they said, oh, the car's still being fixed, and I called them, the car's not even where they said it was. Like these are, like I know I'm a new car buyer, but like, I feel like it's kind of like being taken advantage of.
Yep.
So, but that's my comment. That's what I have to say. And I feel like as an owner, one, you don't talk to people like that. And two, you should be able to work with anybody. Like, you should be able to work. First of all, it wasn't even a full 30 days it wasn't even the 30 days that I had issues with the car. It was literally within a week I've had the car. And then when we went, they let us look at, the guy gave us keys, but he wouldn't let us like replace the car. He was like, oh, you can check the cars out, but he wouldn't let us. So we looked at 2 Jeeps. And my sister was like, oh, these Jeeps are okay. Like, and then we realized like all the lights were on one Jeep. The brakes were wicked loose on the other Jeep. And he goes, oh, yeah, these cars are no good. You can't work with these cars. Then 2 other customers come in. He's trying to sell those same cars that he told us were bad to those other 2 customers. That's bad business. You cannot do that. If you tell one customer a car is bad and you're selling it to another customer, come on.
Has the issues with your car been taken care of?
No.
They're still
Yep.
pending?
We're in my mom's car right now.
Okay.
But that's all I have to say. I appreciate you guys' time for listening to me.
We appreciate your input, for sure.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else in public hearing who would like to mention anything? If not, I'll entertain a motion to close the public.
I make a motion. Oh,
Oops, I'm sorry.
go right ahead.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
That's my daughter, Natasha Miles. My name is Miriam Anderson. And I was an owner, you're supposed to respect people. Don't care who you is, black, white, pink, or purple. The first thing they tell my daughter, oh, I'm sorry, that's your first car. So my daughter was talking to them. The owner come on the phone and said, this is my effing place, and my daughter and him get into it. Then she called the police. First comments, they said they wasn't call the police. Then they called the police. The town come in too and see what is up. The car bearings, both of them, the back and the front, we have to change it ourselves. And the car's still doing the same thing. And they say they fixed the car. The car is not fixed. And she's still paying for the car. That's not right. In no way it's right. Well, I actually have to be using my car. Come here, go everywhere she want to go. She have to go to work in the morning, 6 o'clock, as a bus monitor. I have to get up and drive her there. Because if she drive her car, it buck and stop on the road. Suppose she stop in the middle of the road and another car is coming and hit her. See? That's all I got to say. Thank you.
I just want to add for the record, and I am sorry that you've had these experiences. Just so the licensing authority members are clear, when it comes to matters, and unfortunately, the matter of the vehicle being, whether this is a lemon law, that's a matter for the civil courts. And what would happen with the authority is the authority would have the ability to step in if you took this matter to court and the courts issued a civil fine. That's when the local authority steps in and can work on withdrawing the license, if you will.
because my daughter, my,
They don't need to be doing a business if this is how they're gonna give people cars.
Right. And I would like to sort of wrap this up. I just want to make it clear that this matter was brought to this authority by the police department for discussion. It's not a public hearing. And while this authority has given extreme leeway, and I understand why these people that took the time out of their day to be here, they wanted to be heard, that's not the norm. Just so that I want to make sure that everyone out here and everybody in the public knows that's not the norm for a situation like this. It's great to get public input. It's incredible to see that you want to come out and be here and have your voices heard. But I mean, there's a procedure for everything. So today, yeah, the authority did give you some leeway, and thank you for that. But that's not what the norm is for this type of situation, and I would make a recommendation that, seeing as though I'm the one who started this by asking for this discussion, I will ask for it to be ended.
That's fine. I would just mention one more thing in passing, if I could. Mr. Lawler, I would mention to you that if possible, to review the recording of these two complaints so you can talk to your clients about how they address it going forward. That would be helpful, I'm sure. Otherwise, this issue is ceased. We're done with that.
I make a motion to close public comment.
I second.
Thank you.
All in
Thank you
favor? Thank you for coming.
Appreciate it.
The next agenda is the consent agenda. Does anyone have any questions with regard to the consent agenda?
She came in late.
Oh, yeah, I read it. Hey, Jay Mark.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Can we have Grace Horton is here for Jack's? Can we?
Oh, Jack's?
Move
Oh,
her back
okay.
to the
Sure.
front of the agenda. Thank you.
Sure.
Hi.
There was an application filed by, at 373 West Main Street, Inc., DBA Jack's Lounge, 373 West Main Street, Hyannis, to add live entertainment. Live entertainment to include up to three-piece band and karaoke, Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. to 12:45 a.m., Saturday and Sunday, 3 p.m. to 12:45 a.m.
I'd like to say, my name is Grace Horton.
Grace,
I've been
okay.
at Jack since 1985. And now I have my nephew also as my partner, and he is not here right now. I text him that I'm on my way. I hope everything's okay with him. But I'm glad I came, and I apologize for being a few minutes late.
That's okay.
But I learned a lot listening to all these other things. So I made a couple little notes, and I
Okay.
may not have all the answers for you, as Tim is very good about that with, the younger people and texting and computers. And I sat with Rex, my new next door neighbor, and I'm happy for them. They're wonderful people. But I learned a lot of other things about security, and we do have security. I want to reiterate that we do have security when there is entertainment. We will.
I take it you've also worked with Officer Kelsey over the period of time. He is very helpful if you have any things you need to, any
Absolutely.
questions. The one issue that I have, as you've seen on a lot of these meetings that have gone on today,
Yes.
12:45 a.m. is really a tough time.
12:30?
12:30 would be better.
Or
12 o'clock.
12:15? 12:15 if we,
Well, most of them go to 12. That's what we've had
Oh.
before, but,
I know, but we've been-
we can work around it, but
no one's allowed in
12:45
the
is
restaurant
excessive.
after a certain time. I'm very aware of the timing, not so much on the entertainment because I'm a lot older. I'm there mornings early when my teenagers go to school. I'm there alone, and it's so nice and peaceful. I make soups and different things for the specials. I'm not a night person anymore so much, but that's where Tim steps in and we always have a manager on duty, always.
I don't know how anyone else on the board would feel about the time limit for just for the
12:15?
entertainment.
12:15, and they're
12?
breaking down, and 12:30.
12:15.
Okay, thank you. And this isn't something that's going to happen all the time. This is just once, I mean, we're trying to stay afloat.
No.
It's,
Does
you know, with the
anyone
summer.
else have any comments?
I'll just sort of circle back to last month's meeting. This item did come up last month, and we did ask for it to be continued to this month because we had conversation with Jackson, the ownership, about having a sit-down with the licensing department and with the police department concerning some past behaviors. Tim did actually come back after the meeting last month.
And I asked if he'd like me to come, and he's like, no, you're good.
So
Sorry.
he did reach out. He did sit down with us for about half hour, 45 minutes. We discussed several items. We discussed some of the concerns that we had, and I'm confident that at least going forward into this, he understands where we're coming from and will do the right thing to make it work. He also understands that if he doesn't, or the restaurant doesn't do the right thing, they'll be right back here.
And I don't foresee that whatsoever.
The last question I would have, though, is for you.
Yes?
Are you going to be doing karaoke?
That's what, oh, me? You come and eat my soups. That's about as much. I
Okay.
don't sing. But thank
Any
you.
other comments? I'll
I move to approve the live entertainment application by Jack's Lounge from 4 p.m. Monday through Friday until 12:15 a.m. and Saturday, Sunday, 3 p.m. till 12:15 a.m.
Thank you.
I second.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
All right.
Oh, thanks, I learned a lot. With the security thing, though, you have to have that.
Thank you.
And we've been through some of the other things that come up about, how many people and bands and checking IDs and,
The fourth Wednesday of every month, if you want to have a seat.
oh, I know. I think it's good for, I will, I'll send some of my employees to, I'm just too old to be up that late.
Thank you, Grace.
With regard to correspondence, A.J. Marks, located at 1481 I&O Road, Hyannis, has advised of their permanent closure. A.J. Marks was a junk dealer license. And moving along with the consent agenda, is-
I move to accept the forfeiture of the junk dealer license for A.J. Marks located at 1481 I&O Road, Hyannis.
I second.
all in favor?
Aye.
With the consent agenda, does anyone have any questions?
I move to approve the consent agenda as printed.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And now we have licensing authority updates.
Licensing updates? There are no licensing updates
All
at
right.
this time.
What about the annual meeting?
Police department updates?
Annual meeting?
Well, we talked briefly, right, at the last meeting about the annual alcohol compliance meeting, May 15th,
May 15th?
right? May 15th. So it's gonna be two parts. We are having licensing staff, all of the Cape and Islands, police departments. We have now this year invited fire departments, building inspectors. That was at the request of the Alcoholic Beverages Control Commission. They are having the Department of Labor, and there's another organization, it will come to me,
Health?
as part of the state that will be coming and presenting as well. So we'll have a little bit more of a presentation than we had last year. And then later on that afternoon, we are inviting all of the alcohol license holders here for the annual compliance meeting.
That's going to be, both
so
of those are here?
We are actually, is it official?
We've been in talks with the management at the Irish Village, and we believe it's going to be held there just because, as you were here last year, this room filled up to the point where people were standing in the hallway, so we need a bigger venue, I think.
So the Irish Village, that's the one in Yarmouth?
No, it's now in Hyannis. It's the,
Oh, you're talking about the resort?
Yeah, it used to be the Resort and Conference Center, it's now the Irish Village.
Right.
And that will be, you are all invited to both? One, I mean, obviously, if there's going to be one, perhaps the one in the morning where, it, is Cape and Island wide, licensing staff, board members, things like that. And then we'd be happy to have you in the afternoon as well. So it's 10:30 to noon for the ABCC. And then myself and Chris and Jamie Binyenda of the ABCC will be presenting in the afternoon for the license holders at 1. That runs about an hour.
So they won't be buying lunch though, right? We're on our
So
own.
we're giving you an hour in between, so you can go procure your own lunch.
Okay. All right. Police department updates?
I've talked enough today.
It's never enough.
All right. Is there anything else to be brought before the board? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn to the 24th of April.
I make a motion to adjourn till the 24th of April.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.